All right, guys. Today we're joined by Kaleb Mastin. So he owns a clipping company called View Labs. So Caleb, welcome to the podcast. And do you just want to give us a quick intro of what View Labs is and what you actually do for clients and what made you
Yeah,
go
yeah,
all in into clipping?
absolutely, man. No, I appreciate you having me. So as we were just discussing before this, I actually offer multiple services. The main one being clipping. Oops, sorry, my laptop's there. Clipping, or mass clipping. So this is basically where we take people's existing long form content and then we cut it down into multiple bite-sized pieces, and then we actually mass distribute it across a network of clippers. So on our end, basically what we're doing is we're mass recruiting clippers at the same time as we're putting out your clips. So whenever a company hires us, they're like, "Hey, I have this, say a podcast, for example, or TV show, music, whatever it is." Basically, what we're doing is we're finding the customers and then connecting them with the clippers. Because a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, I just want one clipper. I want two. I want three," and they're like, "But I want them to post 1,000 times a day." It's like that's just not really realistic. So it's
Yeah.
like basically what we do is just we offload that work to as many clippers as possible to make it as easy as possible for each clipper to succeed, but also not taking on too much work at a time.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
sorry, go ahead.
I go ahead. So it's easy for the clippers so they don't burn out as well and they can produce quality content for you guys.
Exactly, yeah. And then it's all incentive based too. So basically, we pay our clippers based off of performance. So it's like really they can make as much or as little as they want depending on how well their videos perform. So we pay them based off of what's called a CPM, or in short, like a cost per thousand views. Um, so it just basically means that say a video. So if we're at a $1 CPM, so it's $1 per thousand views,
Mhm.
then that means that we're paying our clippers $1 for every thousand views they get up to a certain point. So we can set a maximum parameter and a minimum. So if we're like, hey, we want to get a minimum of 5,000 views on each of these videos, we set the minimum parameter to $5. So that means anytime that their video gets accepted, they're automatically get $5. And sometimes these clips take them 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour to make, whatever. Uh, but usually our maximum parameters are around like $200 to $300. So if that video blows up that only took them 20 minutes to make, then they can make $300. So
Yeah.
so it's like
That's
they're
really
really
good
so
model.
that's
Yeah.
what makes them yeah, so that's what makes them incentivized to make good content because they're like, hey, the better the content I make, the more views to get, the more views to get, the more money I make. And then
Uh-huh.
that's also good for the client because they're like, hey, I got this video that went viral. Everybody's hitting us up. They want our product or they want to talk to us or they want to be on our show. Or, if it's a streamer, they're like, hey, all these brands are reaching out to me because they saw some of our clips. So it's really just leveraging the For You page, you know,
Exactly. So
for you.
that's really like a good model you've got dialed in because most people I see they just hire like someone of WAP, is it WAP?
WAP. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And the problem with that, because I've tried that, right? The
Uh-huh.
problem with that is that I don't find quality clippers. So the
Yeah.
model you've just presented seems very straightforward that you will be getting quality clips at the same time. The editor's incentivized to actually get the ball rolling. So I
100%.
definitely do love that. And is there any specific niche you guys work in, or is it like whatever you do, we can make it work for you?
Yeah, so I mean, as long as they have long form content, we can work with pretty much anybody. So like even like this podcast, for example, we
Hmm.
can, work with you, we can work with a streamer. I've got a couple streamers that I'm starting to work with right now. Um, because so I'm actually brand new into the business myself. Because I just started this like a little over a month ago. But before this, I was actually working as a videographer for a YouTuber named Matthew Beam. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he's got over 8 million subscribers on YouTube. Collaborates with like Mr. Beast, Kai Cenat, IShowSpeed, all these guys. And so I was actually there during some of these collaborations, and we get to kind of speak with their team, kind of see their strategies behind the scenes. Um, and so that's really what inspired me to like take the leap of faith and start doing this on my own because like, oh man, like I'm getting all this knowledge from all these
Yeah.
guys, and I'm just a videographer. It's like it almost felt like that knowledge was kind of going to waste. So it's like I gotta, kind of get this out there and help other people, kind of achieve the same success that these guys are achieving.
100%. And the cool thing about that as well is that these guys have achieved success because of the quality of clips which have gone out for them. Like Kyson at Speed, they all are like entertainment based clips, but
Mhm.
that's what made them famous. That's what got their name out there. So clipping is like really, really important, specifically in today's
Yeah, yeah,
generation. So
100%. That's what I keep saying too. It's like I always tell people the For You page is the most valuable real estate that you can occupy. Because it's like
exactly.
if you're dominating the For You page, then it's like you're gonna be dominating in whatever business that you're in.
100%. Absolutely. So, just to give like a quick overview to people who don't know what clipping is, like most people think clipping is just cutting a long video into shorter pieces. So, what is it when it's done properly? Like why is it one of the most underused growth levers in content right now? Could you just explain it like you're explaining my mom, for example? Sorry, mom.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, so it's like there's a lot of strategy that goes behind it, but it's like in essence, it's really just taking your most viral potential or your pieces of your video that have the most viral potential and then just distributing those across every channel possible. And then if those do well, then we'll just keep redistributing it and just kind of rinsing and repeating until, we get as many people to see that. Cause it's like if, streamer podcast, for example, since we're kind of talking about this, um, the more people that see that one person, the more people are going to recognize them, even if they don't know their name specifically. Cause there's been a million times where I'm like telling like my family members, I'm like talking about, oh, I'm about to do this video with Kai Cenat. They're like, who's that? And then I show them a picture and they're like, oh, I've seen that guy everywhere. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's really just getting like the facial recognition, um, because at that point, it's like people are more likely to watch it too. If they're like, oh, I've seen this guy before, see what he's got to say, or see what funny thing he's about to do. Like, depending on what you're kind of known for,
Mhm.
people kind of have an expectation as soon as they, swipe and see one of your reels or one of your TikToks or whatever. So, like, constant I show speed, for example, they know with speed, it's going to be something chaotic, it's going to be
Yeah.
something high energy. So
Hmm.
it's like that's another thing too. Is like once you get to a certain point of recognition, people automatically stop to see what you're doing. You don't have to have these crazy hooks. So
100%.
in the beginning stages, it's developing like those hooks, getting really people to stop scrolling. But like once you're to a certain point, say like Taylor Swift, for example, like if you're a big Taylor Swift fan, anytime you see Taylor Swift come across your feed, you're gonna stop and watch what she has to say. So it's like at
100%.
that when you're at that point, you don't need to focus on like these crazy hooks or these like crazy attention grabbing things because you are the attention grabbing thing.
Absolutely.
But it's like I said, so leading up to that, that's when our like kind of strategy comes in, versus like just throwing a video into Opus and then just getting 100 clips out of that just for the sake of numbers. It's like we actually have to put a ton of attention to detail into every single clip that we put out. So that
And
any clip that's submitted to us, we actually go through a review process.
mhm,
One, making sure our clippers aren't view botting. Two, making sure it meets our quality standard and the client's quality standard, saying like, hey, I only want clips that look like this. So if it doesn't meet that standard, we don't pay that clipper for that video. Um, and then also just making sure that, we meet the right requirements. So if we're like, hey, tag this person in every single clip, if we don't tag them, that video gets a million views. Well, that was a free million views you just got. So it's like there's
yeah.
other ways to like kind of leverage that stuff too. And then
Uh-huh.
we're in constant communication with the Clippers because we want to pay these guys because we're like, hey, you're doing a really good job. Like we want to keep you around. And sometimes too, we'll even hire them to work for our company internally and be like, hey, we're working on these side projects where maybe we don't need 1,000 Clippers, we just need one or two.
Mhm.
And so there's also job opportunities kind of built into our clipping system.
That's awesome. And it's so important. Guys, what he just said right now is gold. Reason being is because the idea for clipping is he's creating familiarity bias within people's minds. So when people see, for example, Speed or Mr. Beast's clip or someone clipping Mr. Beast, they're going to stop and see what he has to say because it's Mr. Beast. So that's what Caleb's company does. He creates that familiarity bias among people on your For You page. So when you're scrolling TikTok, Instagram, and a clip of this podcast comes up, for example, we're not known as big as, I don't know, modern wisdom yet. People aren't gonna like be too appealed to watch this right now, hypothetically, right? Compared to a modern wisdom clip. So he creates that familiarity bias with, with people, which is really, really important. So you said something that stood out to me right now. You check the quality of the clips the streamer, the clipper makes. So every piece of like that long form content has that moments of worth clipping, right? Like a funny moment or a valuable moment. So walk me through how you guys actually identify them and like what are you guys looking for, and what makes that clip worthy for your clippers to actually get the ball rolling.
Yeah, so if there's something like really exciting happening, but we maybe we need context in the front end to like kind of explain why this thing just happened. Sometimes what we'll do with our clips is we'll actually kind of rearrange them. So that's why I'm saying like the AI doesn't really, it's not quite there yet. If it gets there, that would be sweet. Like that would make our job a million times easier. A lot of people are afraid of it, but in reality, it's like to me, it just makes our job easier. But so say it's like Speed doing a backflip and then like that clip that went viral of him like backflipping onto the computer, like
Yeah.
his whole stream shut down because of it.
Yeah.
Well, that could be used as the hook, but then people are like, wait, why did he do that? So take that little piece that was in the middle or the end, move it to the front. So now the high tension, high stakes part is at the beginning. People, that's the scroll stopping part. And then right after that, then it goes into the video. It's like, here's the context. And then the
Mhm.
thing happens again. And then and then it repeats.
Yeah.
Or you could do like a straight loop where it's like, okay, then it's like before it gets to this, high stakes area that we put in the beginning, we use this, we call it like a perfect loop. It's like that part's here and then the context. And then right before it's about to happen, the video restarts and then boom, you have that hook again. So it just keeps you playing over and over and over again.
Uh-huh. Okay, that's awesome. So there's like specific like so you guys rearrange it depending on the person as well, right? On the niche as well. So that's pretty interesting. So there is a big difference between a clip that gets posted and a clip that actually gets watched, right? So
Hmm.
what is the anatomy of a high performing clip? Like what has to happen in the first 2 seconds and how does it need to end? Like you mentioned, right? Now for Speed, the backflip. But
Hmm.
what has to happen though, to make it a high performing clip?
It's really just if you can get people to, stop scrolling and watch it. So it's like that's what I'm saying. The hook's the most important part, unless you are one of these people that they are the hook because it's, their face.
Hmm.
But even still, sometimes just to get people to stop and watch them, it's like they need to say these crazy things. So it's like if they're saying something on a stream that's maybe really funny or really, bizarre, so you need that hook in the first 3 seconds. It's really like the first like half a second because you think of somebody doom scrolling, it's like they're not thinking about, oh, let me watch the first 3 seconds. They're just like, uninteresting, uninteresting, uninteresting. Oh, this is interesting. So in order to get them to stop, they need to be hooked. They need their attention needs to be grabbed. So it's like there
Hmm.
needs to be that high stakes moment right away, and then you can go into the context. You can go into the whatever the fluff of it is. That's really the biggest piece to any short form content that you're making is just making sure you're hooked. Any content in general, even long form. Mr. Beast talks about this, ad nauseum, saying like his first 5 seconds of a video is the most important. Like this is where they spend like the most time, like making sure it's perfect. Because once they're already hooked, then they're most likely going to stay and watch at least the majority of it. Maybe not the whole way through. So that's why like if you're making long form content, there's all these strategies within that as well. But that's a whole different conversation. But
Hmm.
um, it's kind of the same thing as long form. It's just condensed down way shorter because everyone's attention span's way shorter, and you're competing with everything on their For You page.
100%. So the hook is the most important thing.
Hmm.
So that's like the main anatomy of a high performing clip, really.
Yeah, because you think about it the same way as like you look at like a news article, right? Like
Mhm.
if you see some sort of like headline come across your Twitter feed just in your notifications, all you see is that headline. Or, it's like back in the day, you're just watching the news or you're on the radio, you hear the headline. The headline is the hook. So this concept has been around for, ever since newspapers have been a thing. So it's just kind of like tapping into the human psyche because like how do we get their attention? Okay, now that we have their attention, how do we keep it?
Mhm. So that is pretty interesting. So of course that's the beginning part of the clip. Then we have like some people use the captions, the pacing, format.
Hmm.
So like break down like the technical side for someone who's never thought about this. Like what separates a professional clip from something thrown together by Opus Pro, for example. Because I've used
Yeah,
Opus Pro and it's shit. No offense to the team. It
right.
doesn't
So
create
like
big
it
clips.
it works, but it's great for volume or it's good for like finding those moments because it helps like kind of condense your workflow.
Hmm.
That's like what I would use it for. I don't really use it, but if I were to use it, it would be something like that. Like finally, if I took like a 4 hour long podcast or a
Yeah.
movie or whatever it is, whatever it's like a really long form content, like I don't have to scrub through the whole thing and find those moments.
Uh-huh.
I would use Opus just to help me kind of like dial those in. And then once I have the timestamps or that clip, then I would download it and then, do the rearranging. Or sometimes even the caption is the hook. So it's like if trying to think of an example off the top of my head or some sort of scenario where this would make sense, but like, like those videos where it's like the captions like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he did this,"
Hmm.
and it's like the video starts off slow. Well, it's like that caption's the first thing that's gonna catch the viewer's eye, so it's like that can act as a hook. So there's
I
many
see.
different ways to go about it. It's just however you can grab people's attention as quick as possible. So it's like
Okay.
it doesn't have to necessarily be something in the video. If you're like, "Hey, this doesn't make sense to rearrange the video like this," make your caption really interesting. Make your caption, the part that makes people wanna, like, watch to the end. They're like, "Oh my
100%.
god, he just won $1,000,000." It's like, okay, well, maybe it doesn't show him at first winning $1,000,000, but the caption's the part that makes people wanna
Hmm.
stop and watch and then see how he won the $1,000,000.
100%. So, say for example, like a clip from this podcast gets a million views through one of your clippers, right?
Mhm.
What's the process that happens after that then? Like what are the next steps for your streamer? I mean for your creator, for the clipper, for your business. What's the process looking like?
So, I mean, after there, it's just kinda it's that rinse and repeat process that I was talking about earlier. It's like just finding those viral moments, and then how many times can we post the same idea or same clip, like similar clip? Because if you post the same clip over and over again, the algorithm starts to be like, "Okay, this looks fishy." So you have to like adjust it in some way,
Hmm.
whether it be like reversing the video or adding a different caption or putting a filter, whatever it is. Like just changing the metadata of it some way so that the feed's not like, hey, this guy's just spamming the feeds with this video, or just restructuring it, maybe making it look like the Twitter
Uh,
repost, and if you're posting on a Reels or something. But yeah, just rinsing and repeating that over and over and over again. Because like that's what's going to get you recognized. It's like the more times you can get a video to pop off, the better.
100%. So I'm curious, do you guys work with like even smaller creators or is it just exclusively people who've got like 100, 200K subs?
Yeah, so I was running into this issue where when I would talk to people, I would tell them about clipping, and they're like, "That's great, man, but I don't have any clips for you to distribute. I don't have anything for you to clip." So that's when I started to come up with this whole other offer where basically I'll work with companies or creators to develop a short form strategy where we'll ideate, edit, and even distribute their content for them so that they can just focus on being creative. They can
Hmm.
focus on doing what they're good at. Because a lot of people, they don't want to think about like, okay, I got this clip. How do I rearrange this clip? Whatever. They just want to be the one on camera because that's what they're good at. They want to be the
Hmm.
one being entertaining or educational or whatever it is that they have to offer. So our job at that point is basically just make sure that that gets highlighted, on their
Hmm.
on their feeds. It's like what they're good at is being showcased in a way that's also going to stop the scroll, help people figure out who they are, help people want to buy their product or service or whatever it is that they're offering.
Hmm.
So in long, yeah, the I do work with smaller creators, and I actually help them kind of establish that ground base to help them get to that next level. And then once they do have like either a database of a lot of short form content or even long form content, then I can, help them start clipping it and then master shooting it on pages that aren't theirs.
Right. So you use different accounts to post the clips with them. Is that correct?
No, no, no. So like, when we're first starting, if somebody's like just starting out, or if they're like, "Hey, I'm a business. I don't know how to market myself on social media," I'll
Hmm.
post it on their accounts. So
Okay.
this actually beefs up their personal social medias as well.
Uh-huh.
Because
And
that's another thing too is like if you're having all these clips, but then people go back and they look at your main pages and they're like, Where's all this content that I just saw?" It's like
yeah.
so it's kind of helping beef that up first, and then once we have that kind of base established, and then hopefully like what I'm doing for them is bringing them more income.
Uh-huh.
Then when they have a little bit more income, then they're like, okay, I want to get this everywhere. Boom. Okay, now we'll go into mass clipping.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense because I think it's really important as a small creator myself right now. I have my own personal YouTube outside of this as well.
Hmm.
And clipping is a common problem I I find pretty tedious, because I
Oh
got to
yeah.
edit the video, clip the video, then use post bridge, schedule like a bunch of content. It's a never ending process. and it gets really frustrating at times, especially when the clips
100%.
don't perform, you know? So, like, when you guys are like, clipping for on Twitch or Kick or YouTube or, YouTube Live or whatever, right? They all have different audiences, like, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, they all have different type of audiences for your clips. So does the clip strategy change depending on where you guys post it, or do you guys just post the same ones across across the platforms and see which works?
Yeah, so I mean, at first, it's kind of like a trial and error phase because like we don't know what's going to perform where. And I don't know if you're familiar with Alex Hormozy, but he kind of talks about this
Hmm.
concept where he's like, you're gonna showcase yourself differently from LinkedIn to Facebook to Twitter to Instagram to Tinder. It's like your profile picture is gonna be different, your bio is gonna be different, the way you present yourself is gonna be different,
Hmm.
and so your content's kind of the same way. It's like, so at first we start by posting everything kind of the same on everything because we don't know what works out for that brand or business or creator. We don't know
Hmm.
what's going to pop off on those specific platforms. Now,
Yeah.
if it's a streamer, it's a little bit different because like that one's like it kind of works on every platform. But if it's a business, for example, um, then we're like, okay, we'll start with this basic content. Say we have like 40 pieces of content. We'll distribute those on everything to start, and then at that point, we'll see what performs the best on which platform, and then from there, we'll kind of double down on like that style of video for that platform.
Okay. Okay, so you guys like do a bit of a like experimental phase for that specific platform and then kind of see, okay, this one's working on this platform. Let's use that one for this platform, this type of clip for that platform, kind of create an entire strategy based out of that.
Yeah, 100%. Because like, if you look at each platform too as a whole, like, what do you personally go to each platform for? So it's like I know like for myself, like YouTube tends to be like more like educational stuff.
Hmm.
Like gym, business, and stuff like that. Instagram's kind of like my funny app where it's like, I get a bunch of comedians, I get a bunch of like edgy content, all that stuff. It's like that's kind of like Instagram's that's how I see Instagram's audience because that's
Hmm.
what I go to Instagram for. And then TikTok's kind of like the happy, funny, just
Yeah.
kind of goofy stuff. It's like it's just none of it's really like serious.
Hmm.
So it's like you digest a ton of content on there. And then X is kind of a mix of everything. Like there's a lot of news, political stuff. Like it's kind of more like a news platform. Like that's what I use it for. So that's what I'm
Hmm.
assuming. But again, it's like I don't know what everybody's experiences are on each of these platforms for like per client that I'm working with. So it's like it's just testing it. That's the biggest thing is just testing everything and then seeing what works.
And that's definitely the only method because I think a common mistake is what again I've been guilty of is that I just create the same clip and post it across all three platforms, and it typically doesn't like it works well on one platform and gets like 100 views on Instagram,
Hmm.
which is not the best for Instagram at all. Like that's like the bare minimum in my opinion.
Well, because
um,
the way I think a lot of people too, they got to reframe it because it's like a lot of people see 100 views and they're like, "Oh wow, that sucks." But then you also think about if you were to do a live podcast or if you were to speak in front of 100
mhm,
people, well, now you're looking at 100 people. It's like that's actually quite a bit.
mhm,
So like I think a lot of it too is like, is it serving 100 people that are in your core audience? So it's like a lot of businesses they'll get caught up in this thing. They're like, oh, my videos aren't performing as well as this guy who's jumping off of bridges. It's like, well, yeah, because he's jumping off a bridge. Anybody can watch that, but not everybody wants to learn about car detailing. Not everybody wants to learn about what
yeah,
kind of watches you make. So it's like, is it serving your core audience, and how big is that audience? And then some of it too is like kind of going outside of that, trying to convert people to, your audience and trying to convert them to buyers. But it's like you're already going to have an established consumer base for whatever. So if it's a business, you're already going to have an established consumer base for whatever it is, no matter what it is.
yeah,
So it's like, let's say jewelry, for example. It's like, okay, you're probably not going to get 8 billion people to watch, people making necklaces and diamond watches or whatever. But it's like there is a certain amount of people that one can already afford your product and want to buy your product. So it's like, is your content really hitting home with these people? Is it going to convert them to a customer
mhm,
versus these people, who aren't interested in that, but they're like, hey, that was a fun video to watch. It's like, okay, it's like, yeah, it's an extra viewer, but how is that actually benefiting your company, you know?
Yeah, like what's the conversion looking like for that?
Exactly.
So you brought up an interesting point right there. So you did mention earlier on the podcast that it's important to have the familiarity bias, with people on your feed. But how do you
Mhm.
convert that viewer, like a random person scrolling, into a follower, and then from a follower into like a super fan? What's that process looking like, and is it possible to do through short form content?
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's really just making sure that your content is serving them in some way. It's providing some sort of value. Because like, there's types of content that, because it's like I like to tell my customers, it's like we kinda like, we'll go broad and then we'll go super narrow with some of your content. The super narrow stuff is really, it's like what I was just talking about earlier. It's like, it's just, this is gonna hit your core audience. This is gonna, like, kinda convert people to buyers right away. And then there's that broad content where maybe it's more funny, it's more educational, it's just more entertaining to watch in general. So that's when you kinda go, you cast a wider net, and then maybe you, like, scoop some of these people in to, either maybe convert them to fans or potential buyers in the future. Maybe they can't afford your product now, maybe they don't need it, but they see your stuff all the time so that you're always front of mind, whenever that problem arises that you're trying to fix, whatever service or product it is that you sell, whenever that sort of thing comes to your mind, you're gonna be the first person they think about, first business they think about.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so it's like there's multiple different strategies when it comes to converting people to certain metrics, if that makes sense.
No, that definitely does. That definitely does. And you mentioned earlier as well, like back in the day, when you were, the videographer, right?
Mhm.
You spoke to like a lot of people from like these bigger streamers and creators teams. Like, what was the key takeaway you got from the clipping side of things?
I mean, a lot of it is just like before you turn on your camera, what is your goal with your content? Um, because like Mr. Beast, for example, so we worked on this video with him where he had you might have seen it too, where he did the 50 of the top streamers in the world,
Yeah.
and they're competing for, it was like $1 million in a Lamborghini for one of their viewers. Um, so we were actually there for, I think it was a little over 2 weeks prior to that video being shot, and all the work that goes into, all the planning, everything that goes into pre-production, so the production can go smooth. Because like once you're in production, it's like you don't want any. Of course, there's gonna be little things here and there that like don't go
Yeah.
exactly as planned, but watching Mr. Beast's team, even like how he was like testing each one of the games, like each game that the streamers are gonna go through, he'd bring in testers from everywhere just to play test these games to make sure, hey, does this work the way we want it to? Is the outcome kind of how we want it to be? Like, is there going to be 10 people to get out? We want 5 people to get out. How do we adjust this? How do we make it so that, by the end of the video, there's some sort of like maximal payoff that's actually rewarding to the viewer because this is the reason why they clicked on the video.
Mhm.
So it's like really just like same thing with clips. Is like if you're watching it and then you have a game plan going into each clip before you even post the video, it's like what does that look like? What does that look like before you even start?
That's definitely so like having an idea of what you're going to be filming before you start actually filming. And
Yeah, so it's like even before this podcast, you had, questions ready, all that stuff. Like
yeah,
to me, that's perfect because it's like even if the conversation kind of goes astray, you have some sort of idea like how to kind of guide this missile,
mhm,
where you want it.
100%, 100%. And typically, like, for example, a podcast, right? A lot of podcasts, at least recently, have been like putting up clips, but getting like pretty minimal traction. Like
Mhm.
what are they usually doing wrong for a podcast niche, for example?
So it's kind of difficult with podcasts too because it's, I wouldn't say it's saturated. I don't really believe in saturation when it comes to a certain market because it's like if you look at getting a college degree. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, that's saturated. Everybody and their mom has a college
Yeah.
degree. So it's like, but it's like they're still getting jobs, they're still getting money. It's like people are still looking for those people. So it's like
Hmm.
I don't really like to say things are saturated, but it's become overly done with more slop, I would say, in the sense of like people are creating podcasts that don't create any value. So it's like you have to create some sort of value or intrigue or fascination within those clips as well, but just within the podcast as a whole. Um, So it's like if people want to watch the whole thing, they need to get something out of it. They need to either be entertained or educated or something along those lines, so that people can like watch the end of it and be like, okay, that was a good use of my time. I'm glad I listened to that. I'm glad I watched that.
Okay. And what do you mean by more slop? Like, is it like AI slop? Is it just
No, it's like it just people just create podcasts that they think they're good, they think they're educational, they think they're valuable, but they're really not.
yeah,
And it's not really for me to say like whether something's like a good enough or bad podcast. It's really just like look at your users, like how many people are gaining, actual value from this.
hmm,
Because it's like people will just talk about a whole bunch of nothing, and they're like, "Oh my god, that was the best idea you've ever had. That was the funniest thing you've ever said." But then it doesn't actually hit with your audience. You don't actually connect with them.
yeah,
So it's like it's really just kind of balancing like creating something that you like and then something that your viewers like.
100%, 100%. But moving from the podcast, because many coaches and course creators have podcasts, right? And
Hmm.
clipping serves like a very different purpose than it does for like a streamer, like Lacey or someone, right? So what is
Hmm.
the actual goal of clipping for someone selling expertise, and how do you approach that differently compared to like someone from Face or something like that?
Yeah, so a lot of that is just personal branding, and like I said too, it's just recognition, like getting people to recognize you for you. Like Andy Elliott, like he went super viral. Um, when he did that video, he's like, "I don't hire anybody without a six pack," or he was like,
Yeah.
"Take off your shirt." Stuff like that. It's like, okay, that's going to get a lot of eyeballs, a lot of attention on Andy. So he rinsed and repeated that clip over and over and over again. Whether that was somebody from his team or a company like mine that got it out there, it's like it worked. Because now, anytime you see his face, you automatically associate him with whatever viral moment that you saw first or that kind of caught your attention the most.
Hmm.
That's what you're going to associate him with. But then, it's like I said, his face comes up. It's like I want to hear what this guy has to say. It's like, oh, this guy's kind of a jerk, or
Yeah.
this guy's funny, or this guy's however you
Controversial. Yeah.
however you perceive him, it's like that's why they always say there's no such thing as bad press because it's like
It's
at the
all,
end of the
yeah.
day, it's all attention. It's like the more
Yeah.
attention you can harness, the better. Um, so getting back to your question, it's like the difference between like somebody like that versus like a streamer, it's like it's relatively similar, but it's just a case by case basis. It's like what are they showcasing? What are they trying to achieve? What are they selling? What are they and then how can they harness the most amount of attention possible
Mhm.
in order to achieve that. So you take Andrew Tate, for example, he was the one that kind of developed like the clipping strategy. Because he was like, hey, I'm already saying these things that I think to be true. And then, in between there, it's like this is gonna get a lot of attention, but then every now and again I'll promote my thing.
Yeah.
So it's like it's really just the attention first and then sell later. So
Attention
Gary
first, then
V,
later.
yeah, so Gary V always talks about this. He always says it's like a right or jab, 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 right hook. So it's
I
like
love
that's just
that.
that basically what he's saying is attention, 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 attention. So
Then attention, attention, attention again, and then
exactly. Yep.
that's fantastic. I've never seen that clip from Gary Vee, so that's phenomenal to me. And like when you're working with like a brand as well as a creator, you know, there are different methods of a strategy changing when you're representing a business rather than a personal brand.
Hmm.
And like what types of brand get the most out of that?
So like when I was working with Matthew Beam, so like some of these sponsorships and companies we'd work with would be like one of my favorite ones that we did was Supercell. So we
Hmm.
did a video for Brawl Stars. It was a dedicated video to Brawl Stars, but it's like basically what they're looking for is somebody who has the creative edge that maybe they don't have or the audience they don't have, and they're just leveraging their audience. So it's really just when they're just clipping instead of working with the creator, they're trying to leverage attention basically. Like it's like what I've been talking about. They're just trying to leverage as many eyeballs as possible onto their product or service or whatever. So it's like that's really the name of the game for any social media promotion is just creating
Attention.
on an audience and then leveraging it. It's like that's why people pay more for Super Bowl ads versus like a regular, in season American football game.
Uh huh. That
It's
makes a
because
lot
like
more
there's
sense.
more eyeballs watching the Super Bowl than there is, like a preseason Raiders game, for example. It's like, okay, they'll maybe spend like a few thousand here and there, but yeah, we'll just get it on there. But in Super Bowl, it's like they know, basically like half of America is watching this. So it's like we're gonna put the most amount of money, the most amount of time and effort into making these commercials as entertaining as possible because we're competing with all these other brands that are doing the same thing. So it's like which one of us can stand out the most? And then once you stand out, it's like then you're at the forefront of their mind. Anytime people go to the grocery store, and they remember our Super Bowl Doritos
Yeah.
ad, you know, they're gonna see Doritos at the front shelf and like, oh my god, maybe grab some
Yeah.
Doritos.
That's crazy. That's definitely so interesting to see the psychology behind that. And what is the ROI conversation you have with brands who, ask you to justify investing in Clipin?
So I mean, it's really because it's kind of hard to track direct conversions on my end. Really, it's like I don't guarantee conversions. I can guarantee results. I can
Mhm.
guarantee delivery. So if they're like, "Hey, my budget's 20 grand," I can guarantee them at least 20 million views. Usually with a budget that high, it's usually 3 times that, 60 million views.
Right.
Because again, we're working off of incentive-based structures within our system. So it's like if we get multiple clips that are, surpassing that maximum payout threshold, it's like you're getting free, like millions of views for free essentially. So it's like effectively, it's almost just lowering your CPM,
Uh-huh.
lowering your effective CPM. So if you look at that compared to, running a regular Facebook ad, I don't necessarily discourage people from running ads. I think that ads have their place, and I'm even thinking about running ads myself. But um, ads are more like a direct way to like I guess look at conversions, whereas attention, that's just where you're capturing people. This is where you're kind of bringing people into your circles, and then maybe when you do, so this is kind of like that jab, 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 right hook thing.
Yeah.
It's like you're jabbing with all your content, and then the right hook is your ad.
Uh-huh.
So it's like there's a bunch of ways to kind of that's all we're doing is just garnering attention for that brand.
Okay.
So to answer your question, it's like we don't necessarily track conversions. That's more on the company side to be like, hey, our video's got 10 million views. How many more sales did that relate to on our end? So it's really something that they're looking at is like, okay, did this clipping thing work? And then if it did, like how well did it work? Like so before we started clipping and after we started clipping, it's like tracking your sales metrics from there.
Okay. That makes sense. So they have to track the conversions on their end and see, okay, this is what we got to change or keep saying.
Yeah, because a lot of those conversations are like, okay, so if we got you 10 million views,
Hmm.
how many sales do you think you can get out of that? And if they're like, well, we have this content that does this and that, so okay, cool. So we'll work with this content. So if I got you 10 million views on this content, how many sales do you think you can get?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Is it gonna 10x your
Yeah.
sales, or is it gonna 2x whatever it is? As long as there's some sort of multiple that they're getting out of it, then they're like, sweet, let's just keep clipping, let's just keep doing this. Or if they're like, hey, we were just promoting this one-time event, so like enhanced games, for example. So they ran a $600,000 campaign or something like that. Um, and I just remember scrolling on my feed. It's like I could not escape it. Like I was seeing enhanced games everywhere while it was going on. So I was like, this must be working. So
Yeah.
it's getting people to actually watch, whatever it is that the show is or event or whatever. So sometimes people will just do, or companies will just do like one-off campaigns like that, or like
Yeah.
Streamer University. They did several for
Uh-huh.
different agencies. Because like, hey, we just want to get this out there as many times as possible. We want to, showcase these streamers. We want to showcase this event that's really big. There's a lot of attention around it, so let's just get as many eyeballs on short form as possible.
100%. And if you notice as well, like I'm not sure if this is a studio thing, like a movie studio doing this, but recently there's a new Cat in the Hat movie coming out in theaters.
Hmm.
Now I'm not sure if you've seen it on your feed, but I've been getting
Yeah.
these really disturbing Cat in the Hat memes or
Yep.
something like that, and it's been flooded my entire like for you page, explore, and the fact that a new movie's coming out of Cat in the Hat, it's like, oh, Cat in the Hat movie. And the minute I saw that in Cineplex, I was like, oh, this reminds me of the memes, and vice versa. So, like, it's also interesting if studios are doing this. It's pretty smart. They're clipping previous formats of Cat in the Hat and putting it out there, even with Young Sheldon or like any of
Yeah.
those type of shows,
Yep.
it's all over
100%.
YouTube Shorts. So
Because it's creating that interest, it's creating that intrigue. Because people are like, oh, because a lot of times, like if you click on the comments of those videos, you're like, what movie is, what show is this? Or I
exactly,
love that show, or whatever it is. It's like it's not only re-engaging their current audience, but it's also bringing in a new audience. It's like for movie
exactly.
studios. I'm glad you brought that up because, like with Obsession,
Yeah.
like there was clips of that everywhere. And what's his face? Kurt was it Curry?
Good card. Yeah,
Um, Curry Barker is that what his name is?
I think so. Yeah,
Or whatever his name. Yeah. Because he started as a creator. He started,
a
doing
YouTuber. Yeah,
comedy, yeah, like comedy clips and skits and whatnot. So he already knew the game of like how to kind of um capture an online audience. And he's like, okay, so now that I created this movie, I'll just leverage that audience because like I already know how to get these people to watch my stuff.
uh-huh.
So now we're just gonna create, a bunch of clips on Obsession, and now everybody knows about it. Because like before, it's like, okay, you see a new movie come out on whatever your movie app is. It's like, okay, you don't even know what it's about, or you're like, you only see the cover or the
Yeah,
description of it.
post
You're
or
like,
something. Yeah,
maybe I won't watch it. But then you see a clip of it, and you're like, it's a really intense clip or really exciting or funny clip of that show or movie, and you're like, oh, okay, now I do want to go see this. I want to see what all the hype is about. I want to see what everybody's talking about. So it's like
exactly,
it's just getting people to even be aware of what it is, because a lot of times like people just don't even know who you are. So it's just getting them to know who you are, what it is that the movie is about, or show, or personal brand, product, anything that you're selling or promoting. It's just getting them aware. That's all
exactly.
marketing is really about. Is just building awareness.
And that attention, which is really,
Hmm.
it's I thought it's like when you're on your feed, right? When you're scrolling on Instagram, do you observe like, oh, this has come up over and over again. This audience come up over and over again. People are
Hmm.
using XYZ hook. Like, what's your process for doing that, or do you have a process to do that?
As far as what do you mean?
Like just observing what's happening on the feed or what's trending in a specific niche or something along those lines.
Yeah, so that's a lot of like our strategies, like saying, that, okay, this type of video or this format is working really well for
Mhm.
maybe a competitor of theirs or something similar. So, okay, we'll start with this and see how this performs. But then in the back end too, we're also testing, as many different formats as we can just to see like, okay, maybe this format does really well, really know it does really well, but maybe there's one that does even better. Maybe there's one that converts better. Maybe there's one that, so it's like we're kind of hitting all of them. So like when we're doing these mass clipping campaigns, it's not like we're A/B testing. It's like we're A through Z testing
Mhm.
because we have such high volume that we can afford to do that. Versus, it's like I was saying earlier at the beginning, it's like a lot of these people will just hire, like one or two, maybe five, like
Yeah.
in-house editors. They can only do so much. Like there's only so much manpower and so many hours in the day. So like it just really becomes like that becomes their bottleneck when they're trying to A/B test certain content styles.
Mhm.
So that's why we try to recruit as many as possible. And I remember you were talking about WAP earlier, so it's like that's what we use to on our back end because that's where kind of everything is like
Yeah.
stored, and we're able to kind of go through like that makes the reveal process easy, makes
Mhm.
the payments for our clippers easy. That's how we actually build our community of clippers, so that the brands don't have to do that. Because like for
Yeah.
them, it's like they don't want to spend the time to go and outreach to all these editors and then try to convince them to get on performance based pay when we recruit them. We're like, hey, this is what we do. This is all we do. We already have this campaign. We have this budget set aside. What can you do? What can you make? Can you work with us? And then we'll actually start recruiting, bigger theme pages. So if it's some sort of product in say like the fitness niche, then or a creator or whoever, we'll actually recruit as many theme pages that are posting fitness content that, have high followings and tend to get higher views on their clips. Um, we'll try to recruit some of those pages and be like, hey, come with us and you actually get paid to start posting the content that you're already posting.
That's so smart. That's actually incredible.
Yeah.
That's really like dialed in. And so, okay, here's a side noted question, right? Say for example, someone who's just starting out with content and wants to get their name out there, but can't afford like a service yet, just because they don't have enough content to actually give. How many clips should someone pull from a single piece of like a 10-minute video? And like, what is the right cadence to post on?
I mean, it really just depends on your content style because sometimes like it's a 10-minute video, but it's like there's really one main point to it.
Hmm.
You know, maybe you only get like between like 1 and 3 clips, but maybe those clips are super valuable or super entertaining. Those will, go mega viral.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes they won't. Um, but say like you're doing an hour-long stream or podcast, like a lot of streamers, it's like Stable Ronaldo said this on one of his interviews that he was doing. He said that anytime he gets on like a 4 or 5 hour stream, his goal is to try to farm as many clips as possible. So his goal is to try to make as many viral moments as possible in that one stream to leverage that one session as much as possible. Because he's like, if I can get 50 good clips out of one stream, he's like, that's a very successful stream.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, he's like, nah, that's not gonna happen every time. He's like, that's kind of the goal. Like, your goal is to try to create these moments that people want to watch. These moments are gonna stop people from scrolling on somebody else's content. People that are gonna start binge watching Stable Ronaldo or
Yeah,
whatever.
I've been guilty of that. So yeah.
Oh, dude, same. It's like, well, that's the thing is I live and breathe the internet, so it's like that's why I was like, oh, I gotta start doing this,
Yeah. Yeah.
make better use of my time. But yeah, so it's like stuff like that. It's like to get people to kind of binge watch that person or that creator or that show or whatever it is. Like that. So to answer your question, yeah, it's like each piece of content. So it's really like the longer the better because you can farm more clips
More
out of that.
clips. Yeah, 100%. So Caleb, where can people find you and View Labs?
So it's viewlabs.com, VEWLABS.com.
Yeah, View Lab.
Um, and yeah, Instagram, viewlabs.com as well. I'm actually very bad at posting on my own social medias because I'm so focused on posting on other people's social medias. But yeah, my website's the best way to reach me. And if you want to book a call with us, there's a link in there as well to book a call. And um, yeah,
There you guys go. So make sure to check it out, guys. I'm definitely going to be checking it out. I'm going to be having a little chat with Caleb right after this podcast. So, yeah, guys, make sure to check Caleb out. Thank you so much for hopping on. I
yeah,
really
man. No,
do
I really
appreciate
appreciate
it.
you. No, this is a great opportunity.
And yeah, the amount of value Caleb's thrown in you guys. You guys better start clipping, get the ball rolling, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.